What's going on, guys? Now, in my last video where I was doing a lot of exploring and I was also doing some combat as I discovered bases or whatnot, I ended the video as I was getting ready to go down into an underground area. So we're going to finish that off today. But before I do that, I kind of want to discuss something. I want to put a little spin on this gameplay by starting it with a conversation before we get into the gameplay. I hear a lot of people saying it's like these narratives that they've created about Starfield. You know, there were all the other narratives, glitchy, etc., but now we've broken down into the story. So it seems like when these talking points come out, like they start really beating it like a drum. It's like these people meet somewhere. They have some online space where they meet and they discuss their talking point strategies. Their talking point strategies against Starfield. It's really incredible and it's really fascinating to see. Actually, a lot of people may think it's. At first, I thought it was a little depressing because I was like, man, you know, games are supposed to be for fun. There's so many serious issues in life. Why are people wasting their energy, putting so much into hating on a video game? I mean, normally what you do, you've heard me say this before, you hate a video game, you move on. If you don't like it, you don't like it, you move on. That's what people normally do. But there's some people out here who aren't doing it. I personally believe that this is a whole Xbox exclusivity thing. I think people really hate it, and I think they see a lot more games like this coming in the future, and they're probably going to beat those games up the same way. So I thought I would start out by comparing this game, and really the things I'm going to talk about, it really pertains to a lot of other games. And that is how many games are filled with mundane, rinse and repeat activities that eventually some people may get bored with it. Now, I'm one of these people. I'm a gamer. I don't mind grinding as long as I think the grinding activity is fun. I could keep doing the same things over and over again. Like in Cyberpunk, I do the same things over and over again. You know, I run around in the streets. I look for gangs hemmed up in some alley somewhere. I confront them. I take missions where I go and free a hostage, or I go into the building to retrieve some sort of information, or I go into the facility to hack a computer. Cyberpunk is full of those things. Cyberpunk, like Spider-Man, you can't walk into most of the buildings unless it's, you know, fitting into the story, whether it be the main story or a side mission or something like that. Other than that, you can't really walk into the buildings. But Spider-Man is also filled with all sorts of rinse and repeat, very mundane activity. I mean, in a lot of the gaming mechanics, which we're going to take a look at before we get started on this Starfield gameplay, we're going to actually take a look at some things in Spider-Man. Now, look, I want to be clear. I actually love Spider-Man. I have a Spider-Man video that actually got over 30,000 views. That's the most I've ever gotten on any of my videos. None have even come close. Okay. So a lot of the people who subscribe to my channel, some of them actually came from that. But usually most subscribers come from videos like this. Even though this is gameplay, it's not traditional. We're actually going to have a conversation before I get into the gameplay. And by the way, now that I'm talking about it, if you like the video, if you like discussions like this, if you like varying opinions or whatever, because I don't mind people disagreeing with me, please subscribe to the channel. Like the video. It does make a huge difference. I really want to grow the channel, and the only way I'm going to grow it is if people interact with it in some way. And hey, if you don't like it, throw a dislike on it as well. You know, I got thick skin. I'm okay. Also, be respectful, but if you want to throw a comment into the comment section, you know, please feel welcome to do so. Like I said, just stay respectful. Everybody's been doing a good job on that. But anyway, we're going to take a look at some activities in Spider-Man that's basically just a lot of rinse and repeat. Now, I'm not talking about the new Spider-Man, of course, because, you know, I don't know what that, I'm not even going to be able to play that. Is it even out yet? I'm not sure if it's out yet. I know it's coming out sometime this month, but anyway, I'm not going to be able to play it. Short story on that is, I actually gave my PlayStation 5 to a friend of mine to give to her kid, and I was planning on getting the Spider-Man theme PlayStation, and then probably like 2 days after I gave my PlayStation away, the prices on all of the PlayStation services just went up to this this insane amount. And I was like, no, I don't want any part of that. So I was looking forward to getting all the subscription services and all of that with PlayStation. I was even excited about it. And man, I gave it away. Like literally like a couple of days later, man, that announcement happened. And I was like, nah, I don't think so. So I'm without a PlayStation. But look, let's be real. The new Spider-Man is coming out. It's pretty much going to probably be the same. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be some difference, but not much. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, look, you're going to see, you're going to hear me talk about Spider-Man and a lot of the rinse and repeat activities in it and game mechanics, but I loved it. I was addicted to it. It's a game that I will go back to repeatedly. You know, you may not see me upload it on the channel, or maybe one day you will further in the, in the future, because sometimes I do revisit old games. But anyway, let me stop talking. Let's go ahead and get into the subject at hand. So one of the things that I love doing in Spider-Man over and over again, I couldn't get enough of it. Still to this day, if they still have bases left, I think I'm kind of running out of them actually. I don't know if that's a thing, but it feels like I'm running into less of them. I love taking these bases out, and I love using stealth to take them out. This is one of my favorite activities in Spider-Man, but it is a rinse and repeat activity. You do it over and over and over again. Now, I believe this particular location was actually a part of a part of the story, excuse me. But basically, when you take them out, you do the same thing over and over again. Take a look. Now, basically what you have here is a Splinter Cell type takedown, stealth takedown, or kind of looks like Assassin's Creed as well. And then you can take those exact same tactics and move them inside, but it's basically the exact same thing, rinse and repeat.
Okay, Pete, I'm hidden near the front. Give the word and I'll make a break for it.
Will do. How about that file? What's in it that these guys want so bad?
Notes on something called Devil's Breath. Fisk was hired.
And then there's the chases in Spider-Man, where you're using the exact same tactics, whether you're chasing a truck like I'm chasing here or you're chasing a villain. But you're basically doing the exact same thing over and over again.
Keeps up, bystanders will get shot. I gotta get in close.
Now in Spider-Man, you're going to find yourself on top of a vehicle just like this repeatedly. You're going to end up taking the vehicle and the occupants out just like you do here. Once again, a rinse and repeat activity.
Hey guys, room for one more? Long time no see. Here's your stuff.
Now, in most of the vehicle chases, you're going to end up doing something just like this, kind of a quick time event, where you're going to end up doing something like using your web to hold a vehicle or something like that, or keep it from crashing to save someone's life. A rinse and repeat activity.
Oh, great. Now the 3 decides to run on time.
So in this situation, I'm actually chasing a villain instead of a vehicle, but it doesn't matter because it's the exact same. It's the exact same rinse and repeat, redundant activity that's going to end in a quick time event. Lots of fun, but still rinse and repeat.
like zero personality. But your suit is awesome. Can we talk design details?
Sorry if you guys can hear the garbage truck behind me, but it won't be there long. So we'll continue on. But you have a lot of these right here in Spider-Man, and these right here are store robberies. You have a ton of them. And of course, you're going to go there. Your job is to, get rid of the people who's robbing the stores. You're supposed to bring them to justice. But one of the things you'll find when you get to these stores is that they look almost just like this. They're all copy and paste. Weirdly, you'll see no door. Look at this. This looks like this store opens by letting up a big garage door. And they all look like that. They're like open spaces. It's really weird. Now, these are a lot of fun. I did a lot of them. I've sat down in Spider-Man playing for a couple of hours and did nothing but swing around the city and stop robberies for like a couple of hours. So I loved it. That's not the point. The point is that a lot of people will find this boring. In fact, a lot of people are finding activities like this in Sony games boring, and they're starting to be more outspoken about it. But I love this sort of thing, and I could do it for hours, and I did do it for hours. But this is a copy and paste, redundant, rinse and repeat activity in Spider-Man.
We reserve the right to refuse service and knock out any criminals. Says so right on the sign.
And the infamous Spider-Man puzzles. And I say infamous because a lot of people didn't like them for various reasons. Me personally, I like them. Now, to be fair, you can turn these off. But if you don't turn them off, look, this was designed as a part of the game. They don't want you to turn them off. They put them in the game because they thought they would be entertaining. And to me, they were, but to a lot of people, they weren't. But this is just another redundant activity. These puzzles, of course, aren't exactly the same, but they kind of feel the same. I wouldn't say copy and paste, but it's the same sort of redundant repeat activity.
Doc was testing a new contact material for the prosthetic. Hydrogel polymer composite.
Now let's talk about bringing the surveillance system towers back online. This was a rinse and repeat activity. You did a lot of it, but I enjoyed it. But still, again, another rinse and repeat activity. Something that people are saying there's a lot of in Starfield, which is nonsense. I mean, there is rinse and repeat activity in Starfield. Every game has it. But as you can see, this game, which is a favorite game by many, has many rinse and repeat activities. This was one of my favorites. Now, a lot of people may find activity like this boring, I don't know, but this was something that you did a lot in Spider-Man.
Let's take a look at this tower. Input bands have been shifted. Subtle.
We just had a tower come back online. Was that you?
Not just a pretty mask, huh?
Whatever you did, any chance you could do it to the other towers?
Sure, but just so you know, I had to sync up with the tower to fix it. Bet I can modify these towers to track more than just crimes.
Thanks for the heads up. 10-4 will notify once we're on the path lane. Outside of the Queens Expressway near Atlantic Avenue, please respond to 02. We're making our way over from Pier 4 now.
Now, here's a gameplay mechanic that you will run into in Spider-Man quite often. Now, to me, I didn't dislike this mechanic, but I didn't like it either. I just thought it was kind of bland. I actually thought just a regular quick time event probably would have been more entertaining. It just kind of seemed like somebody was overthinking it a little bit, you know, just kind of overdoing it, trying to get a little too creative. Okay guys, so we're going to do this part of the video a little bit different. I hope you can hear me. I actually had to go back into Spider-Man and find a save point where there was some actual backpacks. See, these are backpacks. And these backpacks really have useless items in them. They're more like collector stuff, you know. And these markers right here are areas where you can take pictures. So these are two other activities. Now, if you look down here, you can see you don't hardly see any backpacks at all. That's because we have one down here. That's because I've collected them all. I mean, so obviously I was enjoying that activity, but there again, you know, people, this is a very redundant activity. Let's be honest, many people will find this to be very boring. But I've had times where I've sat down and played, and you know, that's all I did. I went around, I took pictures, and I collected a lot of these backpacks that are, you know, all over the city, and they have nothing to do with the game. I mean, this is just like someone can easily say this is meaningless. This is a meaningless thing to put in the game. You know, so again, you know, people are always saying these things about Starfield, but the thing about it is that some of the same people who will say that about Starfield, they wouldn't dare say these things about a game like Spider-Man. And I'm just using Spider-Man as an example. But you see here, I've cleared all of this. So to show you what it looks like, I'm going to go ahead and put a marker on there. And then I'm going to, do I have one closer? No, I don't. So let's go over there.
All those lives in Spider-Man's interference. Jefferson Davis, you have earned the coveted J. Jonah Jameson nod of respect. I just got it.
And there it is. So I got a rhino fragment. That's what I got. I got a rhino fragment. And I guess that's supposed to be associated with the villain Rhino. Well, obviously it is. So now let's go and see. Let's see about taking a picture. I haven't taken a picture in so long. Might be a little clumsy when I get there. Come on. Yeah, that's it. Okay, that's how you do it. I forgot. So yeah, you do a lot of that. And as you can see, let's take a look at the map. These things are all over the city. These are things that they have in here for you to do in this game. They're all over the city. Keep in mind, I've taken quite a few pictures, so a lot of them are gone now. But this map was littered with them. Let's back up a little bit. And you got this area over here that you can't just free roam to. You can't just go over there. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. We're actually gonna do. Wah, wah. See, in Starfield, you can simply go back to your ship. From what I understand, I've never ran into a wall so far, but you can go back to your ship and you can go back into space, look down on the planet, set a landing marker over there across the water. Like if this city was in Starfield, and you wanted to go over there, you could fast travel back to your ship if you're not over encumbered. You could go back up into space, set a marker over there, and you could land over there. But you cannot do that in Spider-Man. It's telling you, you're leaving the playable area. Spider-Man has not only walls, they have playable areas. Okay, this game is not that old. People are gonna be like, oh, that's Spider-Man, that was developed years ago. Nah, bullshit, it wasn't years ago. And you've got games that are free roam. You've had games that have been free roam for years. Bethesda games, by the way. They're not the only ones, but ironically, Bethesda games. No walls, man. But there's walls in Spider-Man. Nobody says a word. I mean, I did hear some people kind of complaining about it, but nobody was beating a dead drum about it. So the next time you think about walls in Spider-Man, nobody ever thinks about walls in Spider-Man. So what am I saying? The next time you think about walls in Starfield, just remember, Starfield did not create walls, and there is a method to go past the walls in Starfield. Starfield is not telling you cannot go into that territory that is beyond that wall. They're just telling you, hey, you need to boogie back to your spacecraft, and then you can go over there. You see something you like over there? Go back to your spacecraft, and then you can go over there. Look, the least they could have done was put up a loading screen, right? Just have like two walls and have Spider-Man squeeze between the walls like he's going over to the other city. Relax, man. I'm just playing around. I love God of War. I love both of them, okay? So just relax. Keep your panties on, man. Don't just take it easy. In Spider-Man, you can't say or do anything that would impact your relationship with any of the characters around you. You can't turn enemies into friends unless it's scripted into the story or vice versa. In Spider-Man, you can't enter random buildings, much less catch an elevator to any of the levels that might exist in those buildings. In Starfield, you can not only enter a building, but you can visit various floors. You can catch elevators. You can go down and talk to people that have nothing to do with the story. And while you're talking to someone, you may actually end up picking up some valuable information or a side quest. Someone may even give you a gift. You can stop while walking down the street in Starfield and get all sorts of information that branch out into different plots and narratives. True in Spider-Man, every now and then you can catch a person on the street that'll warn you about a crime that's going on around the corner or something like that. But that's rare, and that's about it. People keep tossing around these words. They keep saying these words are talking points. They keep repeating them like Bethesda writers aren't great writers. Well, first of all, if you've played the game, you would know that even some of the side quests are pretty interesting in Starfield. I mean, in the word boring, that's such a subjective word. How do you even debate that? There's no way to debate the word boring. If someone says something is boring, it could be the most exciting thing in the world to you. But if they really mean it, then it's really boring to them. I mean, how do you debate that? The best thing to do is not to debate it. So when you say that Starfield is boring, it's really a non-starter when it comes to a conversation. You want to look at the game Firewatch, which is a highly revered, a highly respected game. A lot of people could easily say that game is boring. Easily. I enjoyed it, but if someone said it was boring, I'd be lying if I said, if I said to myself, oh, that's shocking. It's not shocking at all, considering what sort of game that it is. I mean, it's a game that's just very, very slow paced. It's It's a very slow burn, and a lot of gamers would consider it to be boring. Many people in gaming have selective amnesia, more like voluntary selective amnesia. They remember what they want. Do you remember when everybody was saying that Red Dead Redemption 2 was boring? There was videos all over YouTube saying that it was boring. And getting back to Bethesda's bad story writing for a moment, most people that play Bethesda games don't even play Bethesda games for the story. A lot of people I know that love Bethesda games say Bethesda game stories, as far as their writing, sucks. But I introduced a friend of mine. I told a friend of mine about the plot line in Starfield regarding killing the Terramorph plot line, where you're investigating it and you end up killing one. You end up going onto a planet to look for a woman that no one had heard from in a while. I don't want to give away the plot too much, but you end up going up there. You end up, well, I'm not going to tell you what happens with her, but anyway, the Terramorph story is very, very interesting. And he played it and he was amazed. He was like, wow, I can't even believe Bethesda even wrote that. In Starfield, you can visit the local newspaper in Atlantis, in New Atlantis, and you can actually sell your story. You can sell your adventures. You can sell the story of your exploits, everything that you have encountered, any pirates that you've taken down, just anything that you've done. You go in there, go into the news station, talk to the right person. You go in there, you find it yourself. I'll give you a hand. It's a female. And you can sell her your stories. You can make money that way. I mean, how many games can you do something like that? There's just so many things like that you can do in Starfield. I'm just not even going to sit here and try to list all of them. I'm just not going to do that. Most of you know what kind of game this is, even those of you who might, try to pretend like you don't know. But there's so many things that you can do. You've got people in Starfield who are only doing one thing. You've got people in Starfield who are base building, and that's all they're doing. You've got people that play Starfield, they're building ships and only flying out into space and getting into space combat. That's all they're doing. Or maybe they're only building ships and selling ships. Maybe that's their thing. They're running a business like that. You've got people who are out here just getting into running a drug ring. People who are just selling guns to make money. By the way, if you steal a gun and it's contraband, if you mod it, it's no longer contraband. That weapon then belongs to you, and then the price of it also increases. You've got people out here who just do base building, and that's it. You've got people, I remember, my base wasn't even that advanced, and I had burned like several hours at my base, man. I was like, after a while, after a couple of days of playing on my base, I was like, man, I really do need to get out and do something like fly to another planet and maybe take on some jobs and maybe do some bounty hunting or something, which is the result of the last video that I just made, where you saw me, on a planet visiting some bases. Visit the channel. It was my latest. Once I drop this video, it would be the one before that. So check it out. But yeah, man, I mean, you guys know what kind of game Starfield is. You just can't expect for somebody to just sit up here and tell you there's just too many things to list in Starfield. And look, if you don't enjoy Starfield, that's totally cool. Like I said, you may even think it's boring. Boring is subjective. The same thing that bores you may excite me, and vice versa. I may get all excited about something. It's just like golf. I have friends of mine who love golf. Golf doesn't do anything for me. I like going out there with them and having a couple of beers, driving a little cart around, talking shit. But golf itself doesn't, I mean, it's okay. I don't hate it. I have friends of mine who play chess. I can see the appeal in chess, but chess does nothing for me. These guys, they love chess. Okay, so it's called an opinion. It's called that for a reason. It's your opinion. But the thing that's abnormal is normally when a game bores people, they normally don't go into forums commenting on those games. They normally don't have anything to do with those games. If they see a video of it on YouTube, they normally don't say anything. They normally just keep it moving. That's normal. So just by you even bothering to visit a site where people are excited and they like a particular game and you're just there to say something negative about it, I mean, clearly negative, that's just kind of strange. Look, guys, I have another video on my hands that have gone on way too long. Hope you didn't mind my somewhat ranting and having fun. This video was a lot of fun to make. Look, if you liked it, give it a like. Like I said at the beginning, if you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. I'm okay, man. I got thick skin. I can take it. Comment, but stay respectful. As long as you do that, it's all good. You guys have been doing a real good job with that. But anyway, guys, we're going to go ahead and end this one right here. And please help me do whatever you can to help to build the channel, man. I'm really trying to build it up. And hey, guys, until next time, enjoy whatever game you're playing, no matter what game it is. And if you don't like a game, stay away from it and stay away from forums that's talking about that game. Don't stress yourself out. All right, guys? Stay safe.
friend like forever.